What is up, everyone? Welcome to Mechs on Deck. It is Tuesday, August 25th. I'm Osiris. This is Chewy. How are you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. We're gonna get some popcorn ready for tonight. Got some spice. Yeah, I've said the same sentence to Osiris the last like 2 weeks. I'm like, don't you just love it when the content writes itself?
Yeah, it makes it easy, right? Like, yeah, it's been an interesting last couple days. I feel like a lot of what we're gonna get into tonight has happened in the last like 2 or 3 days. It hasn't been a super eventful week until this past weekend.
Yesterday was fun. Yesterday was fun to watch things unfold. Yeah, it's it's been a day. So obviously we're going to be covering quite a bit. We're going to be covering the next Holy Panda incident because I mean, come on, what's this hobby without some drama around Holy Pandas? I'm gonna talk about grain. We're gonna talk about some Canakeys stickers, some really high quality stickers from Canakeys, and some potential like borderline IP theft. So like there's a little sprinkle of intellectual property theft.
Yeah.
So it's fun. I'm excited.
Yeah, exactly. Before we get into it, though, Chewy, here you got some mail. Or, well, I mean, I guess I could go first.
Why don't you go first, and then we'll lead my
We'll lead,
mail
yeah.
into the first segment.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, make myself big here. I don't actually have like any true keyboard mail. More of something that I got from my father. My dad was a self-proclaimed audiophile back in the day, and I went over to my parents' house. Actually, I picked these up a couple days ago, but I just took them out of the car. But I got these really old, like 70s Toshiba 4-channel headphones, which is pretty cool. I don't know if I'm going to be able to use them with any gear that I currently have, but I'm going to figure out how to use them.
You have like one of those 9 adapter cables.
Well, it's like, so you can do it. You can switch them from 2-channel to 4-channel, but it's not like, it's like front and rear. So like, so you have, it's really weird. Like the actual ear cups have 2 speakers inside of them, which is pretty crazy. So, and they sound pretty cool. I tested them out at my parents' house. Yeah, Jax, I think that's exactly what these are. They're not like crazy expensive. They're not worth like a ton of money, but they're pretty cool, pretty unique. They are absolutely massive though.
Yeah, dude, throw them on your head. Let's see it. Let's get the full test.
Aight. These are obnoxiously huge.
Let's get that side profile shot. I love it. Those are some monsters.
They are
some beefy boys, if you will.
When you wish you had the Hey Arnold head shape. True.
Pretty much.
Airline.
Although would that work? I feel like they'd come to a point. I feel like if Hey Arnold's head, like who has a really long, like if you're a horse, that'd be perfect.
Yeah. They're very big, but I'm excited to figure out how to use them. I'm hoping that one of my local audiophile friends has I believe it's called quadraphonic is the technical name for it. They have quadraphonic mixer or DAC that I can use, or amp that I can use to see how they truly sound, the peak sound. But today on my desk, I got something a little different. I changed some things up. I've got my Bauer, but not with the usual suspect in the keycap department. I threw on Hyperfuse Origins, and I'm really loving it. I'm really enjoying the way it looks. So
it looks super clean. Yeah, I remember when you sent me that pic. It looks real clean, and the salty cap to boot. Marcinic XP, thank you for the tier 1 sub, my guys.
Dude, it's the old Overwatch homie. How you doing, Marcinic?
There you go.
Yeah, that's what I got. No real keyboard mail, just some fun headphones. But Chewy, you are up.
I'm gonna start with what's on my desk. This was in the background shots, I think, for like 2 weeks, but I got my Singa. I went back to Moto on it. So with some nice little, some fun, a Mechs on deck bear and the Taro bear and the Quarantine Space Jam Holy Pandas, which we'll talk about in a little bit. One of the 15 Holy Pandas that you can get. And then, so for mail, put it on, I put it on the board, but I got, this is my OSA. I got Infinity Grain. It looks good. I've got my complaints. I did not get any warts. So no warts. I didn't really get any I didn't get any like crazy warping or anything like that. So full disclosure, I did get an incorrect row B. So I can try and show it off. I think you can kind of tell, focusing on my fingers a lot. Come on, focus on the board. You can kind of tell before it focuses on my fingers that it's off.
Chewy feels left out with no warts or warping.
But here, let me see if you can just. Where is it? Come on, camera. But it's off.
You can kind of see it, yeah. Bantership, thank you for the tier 1 for 5 months. He says Chewy feels left out with no warts or warping.
I know, right? I was like so excited for all the warts and warping. So we'll kind of that's all the mail that I got this week. And let's talk about Infinity. All right, so you and I have had experience. I literally have just glanced at demonic, or not demonic, but
Sanctuary Rebirth.
The Diablo themed keycap set looked great. Legends weren't perfect, but they were specific. They were like very different legends. Thought they did a great job. So Grain, fulfilled by TKC, designed by our great friend Langlandia, had some issues. Obviously, I did not get the green umbrella. I did not get my page up, page down in those profiles, as well as my B incorrected. I did put in a support ticket with TKC, and they said that they will get me a correct row B as soon as they can. So like I knew that they're going to fix it. Like they're going to fix the issues. So looking at the issues that arose were missing keys, the fade, the warts, and the warping. Those were the 4 issues we covered last week. So I didn't get 2 of those issues. I am missing some keys. That's across the board. And the fade, honestly, I think the fade is not there immediately. Mm-hmm. When you hold it in the light, I think the dye is just thin. So when certain light hits it, it's because it's thinner, it's just not as much of a base coat. It's going to look like there's a bit of a fade. But whenever you kind of take it out of the light, out of direct sunlight, it looks pretty clean. There's some issues, I think, so at first you're comparing it to GMK, right? That's the side by side. It's not as good as GMK. Just full disclosure. I don't think it's as good as GMK. The one thing that I think is a little strange, and it kind of sticks out like a sore thumb, is the T is like super not aligned with the rest of them. There's a lot of space on the T.
Oh yeah, that's like almost center. Well, not almost center, but it's much more centered.
It is noticeably off. We're talking millimeters, but when every other key is aligned properly, the T it's a floating T. it's just floating a little bit. But overall, I enjoy it. It's a little bit cheaper. I'm not expecting GMK. I will say I'm not the most happy with this. Like I definitely could have been happier. I don't blame TKC. I don't blame Lang. Blame Infinity. Infinity. What I honestly think happened is we had some sets from Infinity that had time. They had time to come out. They had time for the quality. And then we had a set like this where I honestly think they just rushed it. I think they were just trying to get it out as fast as they could, and it messed up. It didn't turn out the way that it was supposed to. And I don't blame anyone but Infinity for that. I think Infinity, as of right now, I'm not buying anything from Infinity until I see improvement, because I don't think this is good enough for $100. I think this is fine for 50, but for 100, which is what you can get some. Now I got a much bigger base kit, but there are some GMK sets that you can get for $100 for the like TKL sets. And I'm like, for $10 more, I can get, I don't have a board right now that's got that has a number row or a numpad. It's, it has me thinking. So I'm a little concerned for the future of Infinity. I hope they can fix these issues. I hope they can catch these issues before they come up. I don't, the keycaps in the different row, it's a die sub. So it's not like, when you put them in these molds, like you're not going to run into that issue that often. But this, it's like, okay, a keycap in a different row is an easy fix, but the warping, the faded colors, all those are things that it's, if you have a super messed up fade on your colors, that's not something that's as easily fixable. So
it's one of those things. It's like any one of those problems being the only problem is not as big of a deal, but the collection of all of the problems is what makes it like you said, not really worth the $100. Because I think, you look back at the EPBT, and Pylon7 asks about thoughts on EPBT. Well, you look back, they had alignment issues with Legends, and then they, some people did a ton of work making sure that those got better.
Wild Bill.
Wow, Bill. Pew pew. Pew pew. Thanks for the Twitch Prime, Will. Appreciate it. But they spent a lot of time fixing that, and they've consistently had some issues with warping, and that's kind of like the thing that's known about EPBT at this point. But I've personally haven't heard of an issue, at least recently, of EPBT having misplaced row caps.
I haven't seen misplaced row caps. I think I had Grayscale, and I had two other EPBT sets from a long time ago. Grayscale was solid. It just had some of the shift keys were warped. So but that's also one of those, like, I got the biggest keyboard kit of any keyboard kit I've ever owned was from Grayscale. And due to a couple, I got like 5 shift keys. I was fine. Just pick the least bad one. So I think EPBT is still very solid. The one thing that, the takeaway here, the good takeaway is now we get to see how Infinity can improve and get better, right? Like that's what you want to see. You want to see people improve. It's okay to make mistakes. There are companies that are huge now that made mistakes, and to start off with. So I think we can get better, but it's kind of put up or shut up now time.
Yeah. The thing that sucks, though, is I feel like they took a huge step forward between Katakana and then Bread and Sanctuary Rebirth. I think there was a lot of trust instilled in Infinity after those shipped. And then for Grain to come out, because I think this is the next set. I don't think there was... I think Hive was supposed
to before, but it hasn't shipped yet, as far as I know.
So I think that sucks, is that now they kind of, it feels like they've taken a step backwards.
Love hearts.
because of this. Stash Builds Boards. Thank you for the tier 1 for 11 months, almost at a year.
Oof. Hell yeah. If you guys haven't checked out Stash Builds Boards, he streams definitely on Sundays. I don't remember the other day he streams, but definitely on Sundays. Be sure to check him out. Click that link. Go hit the follow.
Wasn't Rebirth missing keys as well? I think it was missing like there were like certain kits that were missing like a F row key, which I feel like missing one key isn't as bad as missing how many, like 3 keys that are missed. The other issue is that like there's been other keys that have the row profile, not just B. Like there's also been in having issues. Who knows if it's across that entire row, which would be kind of funny, honestly.
And as far as I know, so I was told by Lang to check your N key. I was like, all right, absolutely. And I checked my N key and I thought it was messed up. And then I realized it was my B key. And as far as I know, so far, or at least as of yesterday afternoon, I was the only one with the B key issue. So that's, if there are issues in keyboard stuff, I've kind of grown to accept that I'm always going to be someone that winds up with an issue. Like I had the floating E on the escape, or the floating C on the escape on GMK waves. So like I'm not sitting here pissed off about it by any means, but it's a fine set, and at the end of the day, a lot of this, I love green, but a lot of this was to support Lang. I support the people in this hobby that I enjoy and that I like. I'm going to support, and I think that's how a lot of people are going to grow, and how we're going to get bigger in this hobby is showing support. Kind of not, don't blindly support people, but it's like, hey, I enjoy this. It's $90. Yeah, let's do it. So, and I enjoy TKC. I think what they're doing is. So they're trying to bring cheaper keycaps to the hobby.
Yeah, they're doing a lot of stuff right now to try to like pave almost their own way in the community, which is cool because I think not that the community's set in a way in their certain ways and it's a bad thing, so to speak, but I think it's cool to see a company trying to branch out and not just do the normal we run GMK sets, we run SA, and that's it. They're trying to expand, which is, all the way back to last year when we first started the channel, we called for wanting another like keycap alternative to GMK and Signature Plastics. Hopefully, like you said, they take this, they take it on the chin, they learn from it, and they figure out how to fix it, and hopefully we don't deal with these issues with Hive, Amalfi, all the other Alex's set that ran a couple months back.
I've still got the other set that I'm kind of, that we're waiting on my wife. We picked up Pastel Rainbow. So that will be kind of round 2 to see how they do. So I guess more updates to come. As of right now, I really like the color. I think the colors are fantastic on here. I think that it looks really, really good. The legends are not perfect, but they're not going to be as good as a mold. It's just you're not going to. I think if you can fix that T in Finicky, if you're listening, that T could use some work.
You could just move a smidge to the left,
just a little bit, just a little nudge.
It wants to hang out with its friends,
It's trying to get to that Y.
Yeah,
and it'd be like that. So. But next up, let's talk about some
it's social distance
content. Social distance. It is. It's trying to stay from the R. So let's talk about some video similarities. So I didn't even know about this until literally like 10 minutes before. 10 minutes before we literally when Osiris and I hopped on, I was like, yeah, what's this Rama thing? And there's a video that came out from another company. I've already forgotten the name. I think it's Newfi.
Yeah, Newfi or Newfi. I don't know.
Newfi or Newfi. As far as I know, it is a keyboard that is designed to go over your laptop keyboards. I guess specifically for MacBook Pros. I know in the past MacBook Pro is they're not really known for their keyboards. I guess, if you're going to cut costs somewhere, I guess the keyboard's the first thing that they're cutting costs on. But anyway, so in theory, this is a cool idea. They're like, oh, let's build a mechanical keyboard so you can put it on top of your keyboard. And so they kind of released a product video. Do you have the video?
Yeah, I'm putting the link in chat.
Okay. So links there. It was on Twitter. There's a good side-by-side view. We talked about this in the hobby a lot. Rama does great product announcements. Rama does anything Rama does visually is stunning. Rama knows how to freaking design, sell products. He's fantastic at making things look awesome. And another company took note of that.
Yeah, I'm playing the video on screen. I think they can see it. No, they can't. It's not working correctly. But I linked it in chat. You can take a look at the video. Basically, it's one of those things that this world is not full of a lot of originality at the beginning. And this is going to be kind of a precursor to what we're going to talk about in coming up, right? With the pandas and stuff.
Yes.
There's not a lot of originality, but it's one of those things. If you can take something, draw an inspiration, and change it yourself, then it makes it more okay, right? The thing is and this video is kind of cut together in a way. The side by side is cut together in a way that makes it look a little bit more worse than it actually is. There are a few things that are shown out of line in the actual to Koyu versus the Newfie video. Yeah, but the thing is, the sequencing for the first 5 shots are exactly together. They are exactly together. If you watch the Newfie video on YouTube and then you go watch the Koyu video, it is literally shot for the first 5 shots. Then there's a break and then they go back again. And it's I was telling Chewy this, it looks like the person at this company took Rama's video to an ad agency and said, we want a video like this. And then that ad agency literally just was like, okay, we'll just make that video. And
someone on Fiverr got paid.
Yeah, exactly. But the thing is, the one that gets me the most is the shot of the really far away exploded keyboard with the light shining down, and then the Rama one is the same shot but from the side. It's that is the one where it's okay, well, this doesn't even make sense from this is a weird shot for a keyboard promo, because you can't really see it. It's a creative, fun shot, but it doesn't really contribute. That makes it an obvious copy to me.
Yeah. Well, that and the sequence too, everyone knew it's the M60, but we're re-releasing it. And to the hobby, it's oh, there's a lot these already exist out in the wild. We've just made a couple small updates and changed it up a smidge. But your Rama's releasing kind of a hype video for something that's already out, and hey, we're doing it. We made some small tweaks. This is trying to sell a product. Their video doesn't really sell a product. It's just oh, that's cool, that's fancy. Tell me about the fucking product.
Moon, we are 100% sure that they didn't copy it, because this video released yesterday or earlier this week.
So yeah. What I said to Osiris was Rama, well, I'm sure this is probably stressing him out. And here, Rama, this is a message to Rama. You're doing a good job, because so many people are copying you now. And I feel like once people start copying you, you've got that reassurance that, hey, I'm doing a good job. People are coming after my IP, so I must be doing something right. I don't think that I don't know the logistics or the laws or anything like that when it comes to taking this kind of shot for shot. All it does is make you look stupid when someone calls you out on it. So this is kind of like the vote with your tweets, vote with your, I don't know what tweet does, upvotes or likes or shares or whatever. Vote with that. Share it as much. Blast this, because if you support Rama, which I feel like most people in this hobby support Rama, this should be known that this is very similar and very much not as original as it could be. And I'm being nice.
I mean, it's one of those things too. It's like you said, it kind of sucks because that the product that they're selling is like actually kind of a cool idea, right? Like something that just sits on top of your Surface Pro or your MacBook keyboard, and it's just like a better version of that. And it's like low profile, it's nice, it's easy to take with you. Like that's a cool idea, right? Like the fact that it fits, in that small space perfectly. But hey, I'm sure they're going to get some backlash on their Kickstarter because of that.
I think it's fucking hilarious. This whole thing. So, Rama, once again, sorry that you were in the. It's like every time we talk about Rama, someone copied Rama again. Like, he makes solid boards. He does a great job marketing them. He makes very aesthetically looking posts and all of that, and then people just copy. So you're doing something right. You're doing something right.
I like what DD Decline says. Damn, we forgot to infringe someone's design. Better do it in the marketing. Oh, so true.
I love it. I love it. So before we get to the main event, let's talk about one more thing that happened over the weekend. So as we all know, the Iron 165 is a popular keyboard. I think that is a complete understatement. I think that I can comfortably say now the Iron 165, if it does not win Keyboard of the Year, it's going to be up there. So I guess I don't remember if Iron 165 was in it last year.
It was in it last year, I think.
It was okay. Well, Satisfaction 7. If it was in it next year, it will. It would win. I think the fact that board didn't get delivered was it's kind of like the Bauer, right? The Bauer lost because people didn't have it in hands in time for voting. It's a fantastic board. And it's already got insane aftermarket value. Osiris and I were like thinking we were highballing with how much we thought that was going to be worth, and people were already selling it higher than that. So, this is a board that clearly is worth, at minimum, in the aftermarket, it is being rated around 3 times its value. And so extras are going, anytime there are extras coming out, it's going to be a popular time.
Yeah. And if you don't know, if you've been living under a rock for the last week, the extras of the Iron 165, at least what Canon Keys had, went up for sale this past weekend. And Canon Keys took some measures to prevent bots, right? Which has been a hotly contested thing. Everyone was upset about bots happening with the novel keys NK65, right? And then Top Black. Hi, Brian. But everyone was up in arms about how the bots got all the NK65s, right? So they put the Kafka, or however you say it, on CAPTCHA on novel keys. Well, Upas did his own creative way of doing it, which I think is absolutely hilarious. And there was a sticker, or 2 stickers for $500 and I think $600 of dogs that were.
I want those stickers. So UPass, I don't often like say, hey, you're our sponsor, hook us up, but hey, you're our sponsor, give us some of those dog stickers. I want one of these dog stickers right here. So, hook me up, homie. That's brilliant. That's brilliant. I think that's hilarious. So let's talk about the bad first. People bought thousands of dollars worth of stickers. They were refunded. Cannon Keys obviously did not sell this. This was intentional. Obviously, he was not going to throw up stickers for that much. He was never going to sell them for that much. It was to get the people that go in and an inhuman amount of time so that to go in and buy these things, and the people that were like, oh, I know how to read, can actually get their boards. And people were mad because some people accidentally bought these stickers. I mean, just, I'm not trying to be mean, but just like read, people. Devil's advocate. You are worried that you are not able to get your items, so you're going as fast as you can. I understand that that's a thing, but you shouldn't be blindly buying things. Yeah. If you because at that point, I'm like, are you just going in there should be some I need to make sure I know what I'm going for. I need to make sure I know what I'm looking at before I hit buy. And I don't feel bad for anybody that accidentally got a sticker and they're like, well, I got screwed out of my Iron 165. I'm like, I'm sorry that you felt like you got screwed out of an Iron 165, but it's your own damn fault.
Yeah, because and I get everyone in chat's like, well, you don't have time to read. You don't have time. The thing is it's not like there was pictures of the iron. It was still stickers. It was still pictures of the stickers. And it had the info in the product description was about the sticker. It was literally made to prevent bots. It achieved that goal, and I'm sure some of the people who are very upset right now about it are people who were using a bot in order to purchase, whether they were trying to do that for a malicious reason or maybe they just wanted a board and they wanted to be able to secure it. And they knew if I do a bot, I can get it. I can guarantee that I get a board for me and they get a sticker. But Upas did all this. He ate all of the refund costs for this. And it was something like $1,000 or more that he ended up having to pay.
At least $1,000 paid out of pocket because he was memeing people really. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I think, to me, what I don't know how the technical side of how this can be implemented. What I feel like you should do is start getting it to where you have to have an account and then one address per account or one phone number per account, or there should be steps taken to where it's you have to have a phone number and a shipping address, and these can't match anything else. And, kind of the limit one per household thing. And I'm like, I think that's a way to kind of stop this, because the issue with raffles, who was it? Biohazard brought up the preferring raffles. That's great and all, but, I just, full disclosure, I do not do this, but I could go up to 5 people and go, hey, can you enter this raffle for me? And that's I now have 5 times, 6 times more the chance of getting in on this raffle, and then just going, yeah, just buy it. And then, I'll give you the money for it. And then now the person that is playing by the rules has a much less chance of being able to get in.
Yeah, it's an interesting situation. It's do we need to get to the point where everything is 2-factor authorization? You gotta sign in, you gotta do the captcha or whatever. You gotta also put in the Steam guard from your phone. Are we gonna get to where you gotta do all that to buy a keyboard? It's kind of,
let's do it.
It's kind of ridiculous.
Next one's first come, first serve. There's 10 spots. I'm going to call you on the phone personally, and you have to tell me your plan to buy this board.
Yeah.
Get on a Discord phone call and you have to look me in the face and go, what the fuck are you going to do with this board?
It's just funny to me because like everyone gets mad about the botting for a board that was $95, and then everyone is mad about how a vendor went out of his way and took money out of his own pocket to prevent botters for this board. And it's like some people were saying, oh well, Upas should have waited until his new checkout system or however they're going to do it is done. He should have just waited. And it's like, Upas is not full-time in this. Like, he doesn't have like a giant, space to hold all this stuff. Like, I imagine that he's got these boards just like in like either a storage unit or maybe in his house, and they're just taking up space. And like, that's a lot of one, space, two, a lot of capital to get that in. Like, he can now do a ton more with the capital that he got from selling these extras. Like,
yeah.
Like, how do you think he fronts all the money to buy all of the Brutalist line, right? Like the Brutal, the Savage, the Wrecked, the upcoming Obliterated, right? Like, he fronts all that money for that, and then you get to buy it. So like, he needs this capital in order to buy this. So like, being like, oh, just wait, forehead. It's like, no. Like,
I think on the next keyboard buy that I do, if I do like a private buy, I'm just going to have everyone's name personally engraved into every section of the board. So sell it, see what happens. It's going to be your actual first. It's going to be whatever names on your shipping address. Just put your shipping address on the board. Just carve your shipping address into the board and be like, have fun selling it now, bitch.
I mean, hey, people bought exclusive boards with like their gamer tag as the badge, and they still sell. So who knows? Yep. It'll probably would. The Doc 60 by Chewart Little.
Thanks, Noe. Whenever I run the Docs 60, I'll be sure to throw you some change. After I get sued for like sending the wrong board to the wrong person and giving away personal information. But yeah, all in all, Upas, you memed, and I appreciate it. Upus, well done. I think it's funny. To the people that didn't get it, who accidentally did that, sorry, not sorry. I understand that you're trying to go fast. I get that. I understand that concept. But read.
Well, no, it's not even that read. Like, visually look. Like, it was a picture of a sticker that you had to click the picture of the sticker, and then you had to see the picture of the sticker on the product page and hit add to cart. You had to do it twice. Like...
And listen, and I don't want anyone to think, yes, we are, in full disclosure, we are sponsored by Cannon Keys. Like, this is, but if a sponsor would get mad at us for saying, hey, I think you fucked up, then we wouldn't want to deal with them. We want to be able to say whatever we want and kind of criticize what they would do. I don't think he did anything wrong here. I think because he ate that money, he refunded people. And at the end of the day, I'm sorry you didn't get your keyboard. But get over it. It's a keyboard. I've missed out on group buys. Osiris has missed out on group buys. If you have a Grid 600 and you're looking to sell, hit me up. like, I'm sorry you didn't get an Iron 165. Iron 180 is coming around the corner.
Yeah.
Mech market, trades, whatever.
Get the 180, trade your stuff. Like, they're doing more. They're going to do more boards. Like, there's going to be more boards in the Iron series. So, and like, yeah, Upas, I think they said they want to do an Iron 165 round 2, but I don't know for certain.
I think they will, but I think, I know they want to design different layouts.
Yeah.
So that's kind of that old, like, do I run what I've already done or do I move on to something new? And neither of those guys do this full time. So if they were doing it full time, I could see them being like, yeah, let's run another 160. And then, we'll still do the 180 on schedule, or we'll do the 180 and then do the 160 again. Rama kind of did that, right, with the Koyu and the the M60A kind of being in the same, I think it was like the same 8 weeks they both sold. Yeah. So you had new board and old board selling. So, but that's Rama. They're doing that full time.
Chris Card, that is exactly right. There's always a new keyboard around the corner. There's always something new. A year ago, the Iron 165 didn't exist.
Didn't even
right?
exist.
Like,
exactly.
Iron was birthed. The Iron 165 is birthed because Voxkey and Luke took an L on a board, right?
Yep.
Like, that's why they made this board. So, hey, you can move on. You can get something else. There's going to be more. 65% are a plenty in terms of ones that are going into Group I. You're not going to take constant L's for the entirety of your Keeb career.
And if you do, maybe change what you're doing. Maybe change hobbies. I don't know. Don't change hobbies. I'm not trying to run people away.
You got a wife, a girlfriend, you got a mom, a dad that can enter for you. Maybe they got a little bit better luck. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. There's no rules against girlfriends and wives entering. No rules. Going to the same house. But you might lose the keyboard to her. True. Get yourself a nice board, put some nice switches in there. Next thing you know, she sits down and goes, "Ooh, I like this," and then you don't have a board anymore.
Grandma's
it happens like that. So, well, I want to talk about a company. There's a company that are very famous for making mice. So anyway, let's discuss. Let everyone, if you, this is the other, if you're living under a rock, whatever. But if you don't know about this, there is drama around Holy Pandas. So we're gonna dial it back. I'm gonna do a very quick walkthrough of, for those who don't know what the fuck a Holy Panda is or why it's important. Many years ago, Quakeums, through just boredom and discovery, bought some Panda linear switches. And while sitting at his desk, just decided to put a Halo stem in a Panda switch. The Panda switch only sold like 10,000 from the get-go. Holy Panda was birthed, and he said, "Holy shit, this sounds great, and it feels good. Please don't, we'll talk like, should we call you real quick? Do you want to come explain this, Quakeums? I know you love talking about it. So anyway, hey, I'm gonna, let's get him in here as soon as possible. So Quakeums, the door's open. But anyway, so he makes these switches. These switches gain popularity amongst the hobby. People start buying them. They go up super high up in price. Then there's this big issue of, oh, well, the Panda switch didn't do that well, so we destroyed the molds. And then the molds weren't actually destroyed, and people are kind of like, bleh, about it. And then B-Sun comes out and they're like, we have Holy Jesus switches, and the molds didn't get destroyed. There were multiple molds, and everybody's saying different shit, whatever. So that freaks everyone out because the Panda market crashes. And then Novel Keys comes out of nowhere, and they're like, hey, we got Yak switches, they're Pandas. And then Drop's like, yo, we got Drop Pandas too. And so shit happened.
Yeah.
So Pandas took over the world for a while. Last year was kind of the year of everyone.
Year of the Panda.
Holy Panda.
But
yeah.
So with all that being said, right? So Pandas, I feel like had kind of peaked. Like we were past the Panda, right? It always comes in waves.
It's run its course.
Yeah, it comes in waves. Tactile switches, super popular for like 9 months, a year. Then everyone's like, linear switches again, and then tactiles again, and then linear. We are in linear queen territory right now, right? JWK runs the world. Creams, Inks, they're all doing really well. So Pandas are kind of taking a back seat, I feel like. But Glorious PC Gaming, if you don't know who they are, they started with mouse pads, specifically making gaming mouse pads for a lower price than what you could buy like a comparable like Zowie like high performance mouse pad. And then they started making mice.
Solid mouse pads, solid wrist rest. Solid wrist rest too. I use their wrist rest for a long time.
Exactly. And then they make wooden wrist rests as well, which is kind of interesting and nice. Touch below the Orcas once, but That's besides.
They're just different.
Yeah.
They're just different.
But and then they make mice, which are basically Zowie shaped mice with holes in them, like the Model D as Chewy has, or the Model O. And now they're getting into switches, which they have made a switch that they are dubbing the Glorious Holy Panda. And I have problems with this on so many levels that have actually very little to do with the Switch itself, but
anyway, so let's dive in. So who said it? Where was it? Ron DG. Why is no one mad about the Enver saying the molds are being destroyed? Because they've been destroyed and undestroyed and taken out of the garbage, and they were never actually destroyed, and they were in a lock. But it's no one knows. Like it's just
dude, there's 7 people that have the molds now. Apparently,
yeah, there's just so many. It's just all over the fucking place. So it's like I don't know what to believe. So who cares, right? They exist. So they were able to obtain the rights to these molds, whether or not they either do you not believe in alchemy? Of course I believe in alchemy. Come on, look at me. I put a wizard. If Merlin and I did a fusion dance, we would just be Gandalf. Although if for those who don't know, in Dragon Ball Z, you have to like be the same size, and I'm not even that tall. Merlin's just not the tallest human being, so I don't think that would work, at least on the fusion dance. But if you used a Patora earring, anyway, sorry for all the lost viewers, Osiris. So anyway, they were able to obtain the rights to these molds. They were able to use these molds. We've kind of, Yak Pandas. For those who don't know, Yak Pandas like really went off. They kind of silently went away from Novel Keys. So they kind of just disappeared, and then the Yak prices are kind of still in a skyrocket now. So I think that kind of adds to this, right? Is like, well, where are we going to get pandas? And then Glorious is like, by the way, we have Holy Pandas. I don't think they should have named it Holy Pandas. And I know that's something I'll let you. So let's talk about naming. Let's talk about naming first and foremost. I'll let you take over from.
Okay. Well, so this is the issue that goes back to a bunch of different things, but to make it short. All right. So they have made what they are calling the Glorious Holy Panda, right? That is the name. It's not just Holy Panda, it's the Glorious Holy Panda. And that is a polycarb top, nylon bottom, just like the original Panda, palm stem, just like the original Halo switches. But as everyone knows, you cannot have it be a Holy Panda without the Halo stem.
3.
That's why it's called Holy. For
that's
those
why
who
it's
don't
called
know,
Holy
Halo. It's not called a Halo Panda. That doesn't really roll off the tongue.
And exactly what Grindbox just said. Also, thank you for 5 months. Appreciate it. They named it Holy Panda. It's not a Holy Panda. They would have avoided so much drama in this entire situation because they manufactured their own stem, which they say is better than the Halo stem. They said that people are saying it's better, which at the end of the day,
the T1 was better. Zeal stems were better. That's old.
They should have just called them the Glorious Panda switches. And then they could have even said, it's our take on the Holy Panda. And they could have kept the exact same marketing. Everything that they did could have been the exact same. Just cut Holy out and just say Glorious Panda switch and say our take on a Holy Panda. And you're good. You're fine.
They should have named it the Glorious T1. But so here's my question. Just softballing you a question. What if they called it the Glorious HP?
I think that's fine still too, right?
Leave Panda out, leave Holy out, Glorious HP.
People still know what it is, right? They know what you're going for, but you're not outright like 100% claiming. Like that's like the back door. Like that's the you're throwing
Sneaky
money under the table to someone kind of level of it. But I think that that's still better than coming out of being like, we're making a Holy Panda. Because it's not a Holy Panda. And it's hilarious to go through their Twitter and read the comments because people are like, this isn't a Holy Panda. And they're like, they have the invert tooling. And it's like, that's not what makes a holy panda the holy panda.
The glory hole panda. I love it. So some other, the naming aside, and yes, I do think it's dumb. You're profiting off of a name that's not, I mean, at the end of the day, what's a name? The term holy panda is not copywritten as far as I know. Because the workaround here, right? The true workaround is holy does not describe a Halo switch. It's kind of the vernacular for it, right? You're not calling it the glorious Halo panda. It's the holy panda. So you're not really infringing on anything. Yes, Drop did come out with Drop Holy Pandas. There might be something there, but excuse me. At the end of the day, whoever made the panda could be just as equally mad.
True.
As the panda switch, Yak Panda. Yep. Jesus is the Jesus switch is one of the few switches that didn't do anything. They were like, we're going to change the name to Jesus switches, but it's kind of like none of these names are really like 100% like. We talked about this with the Murky versus Zyko, right? It's like, It's just a fucking nickname for it. It's not anything. If you want to call them Murky switches, go for it. If you want to call them Zykos, go for it. And I they're safe, but it's kind of like it's like really.
Well, it's one of those things that the reason I have a big problem with the name is that you are selling it as something that it is fundamentally not. Right? Yeah. Like Drop could say it's a holy panda because one, they own Halo switches, right? Like that is their switch. They are the only people that have that switch, right? So they can say
T1s were called T1s.
Exactly, right? They should just say glorious pandas and then we're fine. And then people might still be upset, right? Like people are going to be mad because someone new is coming into the game. And I told Chewy this when this first came out. I'm like, Glorious is not a company that I'm that upset about getting into the game because every industry that they've gotten into, they make sure that they like are good to their customers. They provide good customer support and they are passionate about providing a quality product to their people.
For a low price. Yeah, I think, so kind of going in, they tried to obtain other popular switches. Like they know what's going on in the hobby, right? Someone has done their research and they were trying to obtain other very popular switches. For those who don't know, if you buy the GMM boards, I've never personally bought one. I've typed on one. It's a totally fine board. They're hot swap boards. You can get Kale switches from them and you can get Gatoron switches from them. They reached out trying to make, kind of these glorious versions of other switches that are popular, and were unsuccessful in obtaining those, but they were able to get these Panda switches, and then make their own stem. And I think it's big business. We've talked about this for months. Eventually, a big business is going to come in and fucking rustle up the gravel. Right, we are still a very small hobby. It seems much bigger than it was, but we're still very small. We don't have these massive companies. I don't know how many they've sold, over 1 million mice, I think.
Yeah,
it's a big company. It's a multi-million-dollar company. So them kind of coming in and grabbing a part of that little pool of like, hey, a lot of these YouTubers, Linus has talked about switches before, and Random Frank P and Brandon Taylor, and what's the new one? The not new one, but Bad Seed Tech has been talking about them. So these
great beard, great voice,
great beard. So these switches are gaining in popularity, and so but like Osiris says, like honestly, this is better than like Corsair coming in and being like, we have the Razor Panda or we have the Corsair Holy Panda. I feel like people would be like way more pissed off. They're like, oh, you're now in this, because it'd be like a $400 keyboard. And yeah.
I mean,
Glorious is in Dallas. Go kick their ass,
Yeah,
dude. I
we're
gotta
just-
socially distance, man.
so there's an interesting thing there of like I actually did apply for a job at Glorious a while ago, but I'm not going to get into that. But yeah, it is interesting, and that's like what we say. We've talked about how the vendors in this community are people who are passionate about the community, not just the products or making money, right? Like 159 was in the community before he started Project Keyboard. Dixie in the community before he started Dixie Mech. Mike in the community before he started Novel Keys. So this is kind of that first time where we're seeing a really big company, which in the grand scheme of things, Glorious is still a tiny company, but like in terms of the level that we're at, they handle a very large amount of transactions and are doing a lot. Now from, I don't know how they compete on like an actual profit scale with how large keycap sets have been in the past year, but they are still doing things on a much wider scale and are much more widely known than your Novel Keys, your Dixie Mechs. So it's interesting. This is the first point of someone who's big trying to come in. And the one thing that I really wish that they would have done, and I said this in chat earlier, is that I wish that they would have gotten with some community members in the keyboard community and consulted them. And you don't have to like pay them, like actually put them on a staff, but like give them like free mice or like
a consulting fee.
Yeah, like give them something and like talk to them about it, share them, hey, put them under NDA, share your plan, say, hey, this is what we want to do. What are your thoughts? How should we approach this situation? And then this doesn't happen, right? There's not this huge backlash. There might be a smaller backlash, but it's not this giant thing where the whole keyboard community is like up against them. And then they're posting memes about how keyboard enthusiasts are like really mad and then fair prices. And it's just like that little cat meme. And then they delete it like 15 minutes later, which they did this morning, which I saw, Glorious. I saw the meme you posted and then deleted. But yeah, it's just like, just consult us because we are not like upset about someone else trying to come in the space. Like this is what the community needs in order to grow. But it's like you would exponentially lessen the negative impact that you're going to have and the negative outlook that the community will take on you initially if you just talk to the community. Just reach out. Like
it's not hard. It's pretty easy to find people.
They work with Bad Seed Tech and Brandon Taylor, who are both sponsored by Dixie, right? Like they are like not even 2 steps away. We live in the same town where the company is based. No. I could go to their office tomorrow.
Bring them a Holy Panda board and be like, if you want to use this to make something, this is literally right here. This is a Holy Panda. This is a Yak Panda. I've got OG pandas sitting in my little nano bento right there. You want to borrow one or buy one off of me for research and development to try and make one? Because so like let's circle back to the T1. All right. So the T1 came out and it said, we're making this to try and we're making this to compete with the Holy Panda. It was not named Holy Panda, but it was meant to compete. Let's go back to the Zelio V2. Winding back another 6 months, back in mid 2018 in August, or I think it was August 2018. So about 2 years ago, Zelio V2s, they were like, it's more tactile than a Holy Panda. Like that's what it was supposed to be, right? It was supposed to be, everyone was trying to beat the Holy Panda, but they never said this is the the Zeal Holy Panda or the KBD fans Holy Panda. It's like, no, this is the T1 that's supposed to compete with Holy Panda. You could have named it something different. You could have named it something really cool. You could have taken a whole new naming scheme and done something different. I love that, TKC is doing like the kiwi and all these fruit switches and all of that. You could have done something really cool with this idea, but instead, like, what were you going to do? Just name them like, oh, look, we've got glorious inks and glorious whatever, glorious blueberries and glorious kiwis and glorious tangerines. Like what the fuck were you thinking on doing? Like, do the glorious clack.
Like, how do you expand from here? Yeah, like, I didn't even think about that.
You're boxing yourself in to going, anything that we do is just going to be a copy of someone else. No, make your own thing. Yeah. Make your own fucking thing.
Yeah, you could have stuck with bears and done like a different bear, right? Like
the grizzly, the polar, what you could have done a lot of cool things, but just you didn't. And honestly, you fucked up. You missed a huge opportunity.
Yeah. You know what's hilarious with all this though? And this was something I said earlier too. If these Switches come out and they are good, which I'm assuming they'll probably be pretty okay, right? Like, I don't think they'll be a colossal failure.
I'm sure they'll be fine.
None of this will matter in like 2 months, right? Like,
no.
The community
People
will
are just going to be happy that they can get Pandas for like $25 for like 36 Switch. That's dumb. Sorry. I will say,
36
for $25 is a dumb. That's just weird. I'm like,
see,
what?
Okay, and
like,
chat is saying right now, like, oh, they're not marketing for us; they're marketing for the meme kids, for the Tfue viewers and stuff. It's like, yeah, but the thing is this is a gateway into this, right? This is a gateway into this hobby, right? They should know that this hobby is big enough to stand on its own and to be a viable business for multiple people who make their entire living and are able to have employees and have warehouses off of this community. So like, that's just to think about in that way. And if that's what they think, then that's kind of super disrespectful to the state of this community. And like, at that point, I'm just like, all right, fuck off. Like, don't disrespect the community in that way. Like, you should be marketing to as large of an audience as possible, right? Because if these Switches are great, I can guarantee you that there will be people who are in this community right now that are very passionate about it that would be lined up to buy like thousands of these Switches. But there may not be now because of the way they went about this.
Yeah. I still think they're going to sell out.
I mean, they will, but
they're going to make a fuckload of money off of this, because a lot of people don't care. A lot of people are going to go, I still want these Switches. I want Holy Pandas. Like, you can be mad about the name, but
I want to try them. Like, I want to try them. I want to see how they feel.
Well, we're probably going to pick some up.
Also, I love that they posted like the manufacturing tweet where it was like a video. Yeah. And then Kale responded with, "Are you serious?" Which was hilarious to me.
Yes, I thought that was so fucking great. Yeah, and someone said the hobby moved on from Stelios. It was just kind of like, yep, we're gonna call them Stelios now, and we just
people don't even know.
For those who don't know, so Stelios was a big controversy last summer, I believe. Yeah. Where basically it came to find out that the company that was providing Zeal Switches Telios to KBD fans, they were basically making their own Telios, marking them as Telios and selling them as Telios, and then KBD fans was selling these Telios to people, and Zeal caught on based on their ordering numbers, and was like, how have you been moving this much product? You haven't been ordering this much. And everything kind of blew up in their face. And yeah, that was no one really cares about Stelios anymore, because guess what? When you make good things, make good things, people don't really care. They forget very quickly.
Yeah. Basically, JWK, your mauves, your lilacs, your alpacas, your tangerines, your kiwis are all the remnants, or the product of the Stelio conversation, the Stelio drama brought about JWK, and they're thriving.
They don't care anymore. This is and this is something I was talking to Osiris about. This is big business, right? This is Glorious is coming in and making a big business move by going, hey, we got fucking money. We fucking got money and we're ready to spend. And everyone has a price. Everyone has a price. There is not a single person on this planet that has a price for something, right? Like if someone comes in and goes, hey, we're willing to pay this much, and you're sitting there going, that's living comfy for the next 20 years kind of money and they're going and the company, they don't care. They just see it. It's an investment. This is a risk. This is a business risk. It's not hard to say. I was talking with my coworker today about this whole thing. She's very much obviously outside of the hobby. And we're just talking about big business. It's like everybody's got a price. Somebody approached Mechs on Deck and was like, we want to buy the name Mechs on Deck. And I'm like, yeah, we've got a price. I don't know what that number is, but you show us enough zeros and we're like, all right, bye.
You got that 7 digits, baby?
Yeah, you got how many zeros you want to throw? Oh, okay, cool. All right, time for Chewy and Osiris Variety Hour. Streaming on Instagram Live for the next 10 years. But yeah, it's like everybody's got that price of when big business comes in and goes, we're here to fuck shit up. You're going to money talks. Money's going to start showing that some people are not truly behind the community to the point of giving up retirement money.
Mechs on Deck is dead. Long live stacks on stacks. True. Also, people asking about the G-Lube thing. That info is literally them just saying more info coming soon. G-Lube is happening in one of their tweets. I don't know what that means. Chances are good it's just bought from someone else.
Yep.
I don't really have as much faith in that. I have more faith in the Switch, but we'll see. We'll see what happens.
They could just be buying Crytox and calling it G-Lube. Who cares? We already have a bajillion companies selling lube. You can buy Crytox the Crytox 206 grade 2. I need to buy some because it was a solid thing, and I can buy that on Amazon. You can cut this stuff to make it. You can create your own lube from stuff you buy on Amazon. Lube has never been something that I have ever been like, oh, this hobby needs to have this specific lube. No, fucking Eric was using bike lube for a while. Like,
dude, I still have it. It's
lube
a big deal. It's like $10.
Yeah, lube is not something that I think is our. It's not something that I think the hobby needs to be super like. We need to hold on to these 3. I'm like, no, experiment. 1, experiment, and 2, it's lube. It's not. We're not making this was lube is to help smooth things out in the world.
Yeah.
Okay, now I just want to build a board with like WD-40.
Don't cut your lube with water, by the way. That's not gonna work. Cut your lube. But you can get like 205 grade 2 and like 105 and like mix it together.
Mix it up, make it thinner, thicker, whatever.
So WD-40 is not a lube. No, it is not.
No.
There was that reminds me of a video that I saw, like, I think it was Jay's 2 Cents did, where it was like, let's use household items as like CPU coolant, like water coolant. Like he used like orange juice and milk and like Powerade.
I remember the milk one. Ugh.
Dude, we should do that for keyboards and see if there's like, we could use like olive oil or like avocado oil.
I love it. Let's get some butter. Like just use butter, use shortening. But yeah, it's circling back to Glorious. This is business. This is big business. People, while yes, there are circulating things of like, hey, they did this, they did this, they did this. They didn't get everything that they wanted, but there's nothing wrong with them asking.
Yeah.
Free to ask. I can go up to Top Clack and say, we want to buy your Twitch spot. we want to start streaming on Thursdays and we want to pay you for it. They could say no, and then we all move on with our lives. Like these are things that it's like it's free to ask, right? And if you ask 100 times and they keep saying no, cool. Like whatever. You can like them, you can hate them for that, but at the end of the day, that's just business.
I think it's funny because chat's kind of running away with like the household items for lube thing, and people are trying to like talk about using olive oil for stuff. I'm like, don't do that. It'll go rancid. If it's organic, it'll go. But yeah, capitalism is a hell of a thing, man.
Yep.
Hell of a thing.
So now that we've gotten our spice out of the way, someone asked, why are we so salty? No, I don't want anyone to think that we lose sleep over any of this. Like, it's just fun. It's like Lang and I say this to each other all the time. We are in a hobby where we build keyboards that are worth more than most people's laptops. And we have drama.
Yep. Well, we have drama, and it's like
we have drama.
We're in a community where like there are a lot of like insanely smart people, like insanely smart people, and we get upset about like sometimes it's the dumbest things. We don't lose Chewy and I don't lose sleep about it. Half the time we talk about it and then we kind of laugh about it because sometimes it's pretty ridiculous. But hey, I still think a lot of people say, oh, there's so much drama in keyboards. I think our drama is pretty subdued. No one's like killing each other. Like no one's getting stabbed over the holy pandas, right? Like we're not that kind of hobby, but maybe one day, who knows?
Yeah. And when I correct, show me a hobby without drama. Yeah, you're right. Not yet. That's fair. But yeah, it just baffles me. It's like, guys, I don't, we buy our own stabs. There you go. But yeah, it's just business, and it's just stuff to talk about. And I think what's funny is, another thing we always talk about, Cyrus and I always talk about, we're in a hobby where we are friends with people with a common interest, and that common interest just happens to be mechanical keyboards. So, but yeah, and Janelle's 100%. Drama does come in waves, 100%. Shit hits the fan very close together, and then nothing happens for a while.
Yeah. Also, death threats in an email or like on a Discord post, very different than like, I have a knife, you're standing in front of me, I'm going to stab you. Like, if you've ever been in that situation, not a fun one.
Raise your hand if you had no clue who Glorious was before today. There it is. We're lucky it was not Razor, because Razor has I'm buying Dixie, and Dixie can't say no with that much money.
I was talking about this. Do you think that if a company like because Corsair as of late has been we're just gonna buy you company, like they bought Elgato and they bought a couple other companies. Do you think like if they came in and they were like, Dixie, I'm gonna buy you, do you think that like they would sell? Do you think Dixie, Mike, 159 they would possibly?
There is a number. I don't know what that number is, but there is a number, because everybody's got their number.
Yeah. Exactly.
Money talks, shit walks, as someone said earlier. It is hard to walk away from, I don't have to worry about my grandkids going to college money. I don't have to worry about I can go buy a house straight up. And I don't have to do anything ever again. I'm just going to live off interest off of this giant stack of cash. Like that, it becomes how much money are you throwing away? Like, what kind of life are you throwing away for pride reasons? Right. Yeah. Everyone's got a number. Yeah. No one bought who. So L3, so Leo, no one bought who. We're talking about, what if one of these big companies like Corsair or Razer came in and were like, hey, Mike from Novel Keys, we're going to offer you 10 million. Would Mike walk away from that? Would Mike be like, hey guys, it's $10 million?
Like I think justifiably some, like I wouldn't be upset, right? Some people would be upset, but like, I don't think. I mean, I feel like this is gonna sound very strange, but I don't feel like 10 million is enough, right? Like, I think if you were in the ballpark of like 50 to 60 million, I think that that's a better valuation of like overall novel keys
of the growth rate. We're a few years away because two things. What Scottwater says, you look at someone like Rama, they're the most buyable right now. But and we haven't been in we don't have like the 5-year evaluation, right? You haven't been in these people haven't done this for long enough. But come 5 years from now and people are starting to go, hey, I got, you're sitting at Dixie might be able to buy a yacht big enough to put a pool large enough to fit his original yacht
inside of,
so he can be riding his yacht inside of his other yacht to just the biggest flex in the hobby.
I totally agree too. If like Rama would be way more easy to integrate. Someone like Dixie Mech or Novel Keys, that'd be super hard to integrate into an existing business without having to like keep that person involved, right? Like they could just buy Rama and then they just have his designs, and then all of a sudden they're just M60As and co-use out the ass.
Yeah. So fill a yacht with holy pandas. There you go. But yeah, and that's why Rama. It's the Corsair Rama M60. And it's like they just put their brand on it, and Rama goes, "Cool, I'm gonna go hang out with Dixie and his yacht inside of a yacht." So and it's something like I don't think Colt would be buying it would be selling anytime soon. But that's another. There's people need more IP right now. Dixie has the rights to sell certain designs by other people, and he's got his own keycap designs, and he's got the Bower and some other upcoming projects. But outside of that, it's not worth the huge buy quite yet. But 5 years down the road, look what we've done in 2 to 3 short years of like making awesome products. And let's triple that and go 6 years down the road. Now we're almost 10 years into this. Now we're starting to have lots of boards, lots of profit, lots of larger runs, and that might start going, hey, this small company might be an easy grab now to buy in at a lower cost. And for the vendors that are this lower, smaller company are going, oh yeah, fuck yeah, here, take it all.
Yeah. And Soulful Tofu says that he thinks Glorious would be the closest, but the thing is, that's not Glorious's MO, right? Like that's not their what they do, right? Because they could have just bought Final Mouse, but they didn't. They were just like, we're gonna make you look silly, even though you already look like children on your Twitter. But yeah.
So, but yeah, and then someone mentioned, how long do you think? Yeah. So Hooligan asks, how long do you think till one of these big companies reaches out to someone in the community and do a well-designed key for way cheaper than we normally see? So I don't know about the well cheaper part, but we've already seen bigger companies reach out to reach out to designers and go, hey, help us out. We've already seen that. So some of these designers we're going to start seeing nicer stuff from these big box companies. I think a lot of these vendors, I don't think any of them, like the reason I don't see Dixie selling anytime soon is like Dixie's very prideful about his own things that he sells. And I think he likes doing it kind of by himself, right? He likes doing this, but we have other vendors that are more just like, hey, bring me your designs. That they would have to sell to the vendor or the big company would have to go to the designer of the board, not the vendor.
Listen, all I'm saying is if Corsair or Logitech or Razer or HyperX sees this, if you're trying to get someone in the community that's designer that you want to like make bomb keyboards for you that everyone will love and will be fundamentally better keyboards, pay out the ass to get AIO3 on your team. Like that dude's nuts. Like pay out the ass for him, because that might be the route that happens.
Yep.
which I think
Also,
that would be
right-
cool.
Corsair, if you're listening, Blind Assassin, I would love to buy a house. So if you want all the rights to this, by all means, let's talk. So, but anyway, there's the spice, there's the drama. We'll answer this last statement by Kimchi Jody Boy, and then we're going to move on to something fun. Speaking on the concept is what Kimchi Jody Boy says. Speaking on the concept of IP copyright infringement, companies either copying or outright stealing IP from others, the community will rage, but ultimately don't seem to care in the long term. But the question is, should people boycott JWK after the Stelios controversy? Most linear recolors wouldn't exist if that were the case, and should the community members do so going forward? I think a big reason is we're in such a huge growth period right now that people don't care. People just want product, and they don't care how
It's 100% a personal thing, right? Too like the people that care enough, and it should be this way, in my opinion. The people that care enough will not buy those products, and the people that don't care will still buy those products. And that should be your right. I feel like should JWK have had some litigation and some penalty for what they did in terms of the actual Stelios themselves? Yes. But should it have ended there? Yes, right? That doesn't mean that just because they had that situation doesn't mean that they can't move forward as a company, right? Like if they do their time, they can move forward, if that makes sense. And it'll be up to the consumers at that point whether or not they accept them.
Yeah. Yeah, if you buy a JWK Switch and you can't sleep at night because of it, maybe you shouldn't have bought a JWK Switch. If you sleep better at night because you don't buy these Switches, that's totally fine. That's up to you. But it's kind of one of those. It's big business. A lot of people don't care.
So the entirety of China is just like IP. What?
Yeah. What is IP?
But
so yeah, if you go outside of keyboards, the amount of like IP things that are just completely ignored, it's hilarious. That's why you see on Amazon like 50 of the exact same thing with different names on.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, and you like it. You like it. Said a perfect. Enforcing IP takes time and money, and people just don't care. Unless they're seeing a huge impact of sales because someone else is selling the exact same thing for cheaper. No, they're like, okay, whatever. Like next. So what are we doing next, Osiris?
Next up, we've got Keyboard of the Week. So join us in our Discord. Get your pictures ready. We are doing our weekly Keyboard of the Week. Put in a picture of the keyboard you're either using, or if you got one saved away, throw it in the keyboard pictures channel on our Discord. We're going to take a look at all of them. We're going to talk a little bit about them. We're going to show them off. And then Chewy and I will each choose our favorite. And then chat, you will vote on the winner. What do they get if they win, Mr. Chewy?
Well, first off, I'm going to take 100% blame. I have not updated the Hall of Fame thing, and I will get to that. I'm sorry. It's been busy times in Chewy Town as of recently. So my apologies for not updating that. But I will get that updated soon. But you will get your picture as the banner in our Discord. You will get a special role in our Discord for being the Keyboard of the Week. Your picture will get inserted into the slideshow that you will see right above you that rotates through. And as well as we've got plans that we've been discussing and slowly kind of trying to figure out exactly how we want to approach it towards the end of the year. Big competition, maybe some giveaways. So, it's just something fun, something cool. And we get to show off your board, and if we like it and other people vote for it, maybe it just makes you feel better, right? Who knows?
Absolutely. Well, we've already got them rolling in. So let's get into it. with our wonderful intro provided by Mr. Langlandia, the one, the only. Here he is.
Welcome to Keyboard of the Week, brought to you by Mechs on Deck.
Alrighty. First up,
Scott W.
That's some fire. Switch Couture Alice with GMK 8008 and mauves. This looks solid, man.
Sexy on the Alex Odos desk mat. Very good aesthetic, very bright, colorful. I think Odos would like this.
Oh, for sure. He absolutely would.
This is inspired, and I appreciate it. I think this looks sick.
I think it looks great. I like the milkshake M6. I believe that's the C as well. I like that in the corner, as well as the little fidget cube with more milkshake on it. Kind of brings it all together.
We haven't talked about. There's too much spice. Something awesome. The Novel Keys NK65 Milkshake Edition that's being sold as a open buy. Amazing.
Yeah, awesome. I like the back. It looks
if you like milkshake and you like that design, that's going to be a killer board for a killer price. Just shout out Novel Keys.
Up next, we've got this is Moon's post. It's Rukia. We're going to go with the Rukia. The QXP in the back it's out of focus. So we'll focus on the Rukia with Bento, which is running right now.
And
this looks super
Zycos. Clean. Some Zycos. I know. So one of the second board that was made with Zycos, or the third board technically, was a Rukia by IMEURU. And I was like, shit, I should be on stream. Yeah, Honeybush will be with us tomorrow, but we'll announce that more tomorrow or and later tonight. But I know that board sounds great. It just looks clean. I mean, Bento looks good. While Bento's kind of hard to photograph, I thought you did a solid job photographing it, and I like the artisans.
Yeah, it looks great. Also, a little bit of a fun fact. Moon was actually one of the people that helped name the Polar Pandas the Polar Pandas. So, props to him for that. What do we got next, Chewy?
We got a drop top 55 with lubed pale blues featuring white on black. This is a Drifting Bunnies board for the people that want that 40s life, but just don't want to give up too much. Very cool, very clean aesthetic. I know Drifting Bunnies really likes the black on black, that clean look. And this looks, I would try it. Definitely try it. I don't know if I would like it, but I would try it.
Yeah, this looks awesome. I definitely want to try this board. It looks so cool. I don't know if I'd be able to get away fully of not having a Numro, but this looks like it would be a lot of fun to play with and use. And it's so small. It's like a little candy bar, even though there is a candy bar already. But hey, this is workable, like you said.
Lana likes thick. Yeah, this is workable. Well put. What do we got next? I know it's one of your. It's one that you've been eyeballing.
I've been eyeballing this. This is a Romeo in a P3D case with Novel Keys creams with inverse stems. Interesting. Purple Durox stabs and the Vaporwave set from Novel Keys, the Vaporwave PBT. This looks awesome. This looks nice.
This board is maybe $130. Looks like a lot more expensive than that. Well done.
Static Age.
Romeo built by DDD Klein, our buddy DDD Klein.
208, man. Value. Hashtag ValueTown population Static Age.
Oof. Well done, Static Age. What do we got next?
Next up, this is an interesting one. It's a Key 65, but we haven't seen this variant, I don't think. Not only in the color, but also in the fact that it is the full the badgeless version. This looks super clean. Super clean. Not sure what switches are in there. But this looks great.
Yeah, I like the theme. I like that it's got that red accent on the bottom as well as the caps. Lang, thank you for the raid. I like that Lang raided, and I'm pretty sure is the raid Lang's voice.
Yeah, it is. It
yeah,
is.
so Lang raided, and then it was his voice. That's brilliant.
Thanks.
So
I appreciate all the comments on my my beauty.
That cliff. There you go. Next up, we got a pretty cool board. Got a pretty cool board.
Ooh. Wow.
So next up, we got by Kimchi Jody Boy, the Lens Choice Peacock Montage, GMK Minimal, Vent Blacks Korean brush box with abalone inlay. Ooh, I haven't heard that term in 7 years. That is a classic guitar inlay material. Very, very clean. I mean, people might look at this and go, "This is basic." No, this is actually a pretty fucking solid board. Like,
this is a
Lens ran the world not too long.
This is a very hard to get board, especially in this color. There's not that many of these out there. I think I don't know exactly which one is the most rare of the montages in terms of color. I know the palm one's up there, the polycarbs are up there. I imagine this one is up there as well. This thing is absolutely beautiful. You've got minimal in there, which, if you're looking at minimal, you're looking at this set and you're like, man, that looks great. You can pick that up over on mechsondeck.dixiemech.com. Minimal 2 is running all month. Yeah, a couple more days left, so head on over, pick it up.
Hell yeah. So next up, another classic, another beloved board by Mechs on Deck, the Sirius 60. This is the full layout with NK dry blacks, lube 205 grade 0, and filmed with Infinity white on black and black on white for that nice monochromy look.
Yeah, I love the way that this looks. I like GMK monochrome. I like Metaverse, which is the same style but with sub-legends. Excuse me. This looks great. I imagine this board feels amazing because I have a Sirius and I love it. You've got the dry blacks lubed with 205 grade 0 and film, so I imagine this is a fairly quiet board, but probably sounds similar to the Bauer that I'm using as well. This looks great. It's super clean. It's a very clean board.
I like the matching cables, the matchy. So next up, the Key Cult number 165 Rev 1 in black and red with Tangy V2s, 205 grade 0 film with desk key films, the brass plate. Oof, clean.
Yeah.
These are one of those. This is one of those like keycaps board kind of all made for each other. This is like the in-game grail, like this solid.
This is one of those ones that I feel like if some random person came up and looked at this, they'd be like, "Oh, that's nice," but they wouldn't quite understand. This is like definitely a sleeper. It's not loud, but it's classy. This is it's like a tuxedo of keyboards.
Absolutely. So what are we looking at next?
This is another fire board. We got a unicorn with Gatoron yellows with an aluminum half plate and one of Chewy's favorites, GMK Mizu. This looks super clean.
Hell yeah. I just watched Langlandia did a unicorn build Friday. Yeah, Friday. It sounded great. Lang, if you're still in chat, please post a link to that build because that build was solid and it sounded great. So yeah, and then this is one of those I've talked about it with the Baka, the Mizu's on. They did a great job taking a blue that is not trying to be the other two blues and matching them together to just give it a blue feel.
This looks super clean. Super. Props,
well
Mr.
done.
Bucknut.
Next up, Captain Ladies Man. We're going to judge the M60A because all we can see is a nice key butt, but we unfortunately don't see anything other than that. So, but this is a Rama M60A. Very clean look. That looks to be the Rama PBT Industry, I believe.
Yeah, I think that's heavy industry. Yeah, it looks
Heavy
like
industry. So very, very clean set. Milk. I'm glad they went with that milk white. Like it looks very, very nice.
This looks super clean. Super clean. Yeah, I mean the M60A is a great board. It's been out for a couple years now. Still like kind of a classic. Still commands a high price. So this looks great.
Absolutely.
Next up, we've got Not Geo. This is a wood lubricante with EPBT slate. Shout outs to Mr. Heinebush. He'll be joining us tomorrow. It's his set. This looks cool. What kind of wood is the top, Geo? I don't know if you're still here.
Yeah. Mercy Rider, it is in the Keyboard Pictures channel on the Discord. So
say oak. This looks super clean.
I want to say oak. Slate was a slept-on set.
Oh, for sure.
Slate was a slept-on set. When we went to Houston, there was a TX CP that had Slate on it. I think I still have the picture somewhere, and it looked so good. Like I was blown away at how well that set was, and I was mad at myself that I slept on it. I probably just didn't have that much money at the time, unfortunately, but
hey,
solid set.
You got to take an L sometime to make those dubs feel better.
We've all taken the L's before. So next up, we got a KBD Fans by Crador. KBD Fans 5-degree case. The new Navy switches, GMK Triumph Adler round 1. There you go. Old school. I like this. New switches, old set, old board. Very clean. Like the succulent on the desk as well. Very clean. And how do you like the Navy switches, Mr. Crador?
This looks super clean. I like the gold disconnect for your cable as well. That's a nice little touch. Looks super clean. Very old set too, though. Very, very old.
Very.
Short travel, snappy.
Is. So next up by Jay Pature, the Rama U80 Drop Holy Pandas. I think we had this last week. Very clean. GMK First Love looks excellent. I think I remember seeing this on, maybe I just saw it on Reddit.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing this.
I think I saw this on Reddit and I was just like, this is clean. This is a board that it's like, I'm done. I never need to have another board. like this is a forever keeper.
Yeah, this looks super clean. Like this is such a good combo. First Love came out fantastic. They did such a great job with it. Like it just looks so clean. And that Rama, the Heart Rama Artisan for the Escape just looks super, super there as well.
Amazing. So next up, we got another unicorn by Stash, Cerakoted Sniper Gray Weight. So the weight Cerakoted, but with inks, Lube 205 grade 0, with some IMSTO black on black. That's an old set. This is a dope looking board.
Dude, talk about a sleeper. This is like trying to be a sleeper. Cerakoted and Sniper Gray. Man. This is a nice combo, like Kimchi Jody Boy just said. This looks great.
Nice combo. I like it. Next up, the Apple 2GS with Orange Alps saved from the recycler for $5. You got your value.
Dude, if there's a hashtag value tonight, this one is it.
Absolute value. Like Osiris and I, we talked about, we enjoy typing out a lot of the boards that we see at meetups. We like to stray towards like when it comes to actually typing on a board. I think we type on vintage boards more often than we actually type on other boards, because it's kind of, once you type on certain mounting styles and weights and all of that, you're kind of like, you can get an idea. But vintage is like, it's a shit show of, different boards and different switches and how old are the switches and how used is the board, and it's a lot of fun. personally, I wouldn't really want to own a vintage board. Unless it was like a Brown Alps vintage board that was really, really good. But I love typing on them. They're always fun.
This has a 4.75U spacebar. This is like
Hell yeah.
the polar opposite of what like typical vintage boards have, where they have like the 11U spacebar. That is a tiny spacebar.
I also love that the pipe key and the tilde are on the bottom row.
Yeah.
And we've got a 1.75 command key.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
You know, hey, they did things back in the day differently. You know, it just hit different.
It hit different. Next up, we got a Tofu 65 PBT black on white with Gateron reds. This is one of those, to me, this is the board that's like, I want to get into the hobby. And this is a solid getting into the hobby board. You've got the matchy with, you've got switches, you uncap those keycaps that we said, yeah, PBT black on white. So that's going to hold up. I'm sure that board sounds really good. It's going to sound better than most box boards you're going to have. Set looks clean. Board looks clean. I dig it.
Yeah, it looks great. The cable looks awesome. A couple of people in chat are talking about it. Those legends are super crisp, and I imagine that keycap set was not super expensive. So that's awesome. I would consider that a win.
Hell yeah.
Looks super clean. Super, super clean. Last but not least, we've got a plank with Kale Cyberpunk switches. We had some of these last week. It wasn't on a plank, but this looks clean. Again, quality, low price.
I love the color theme. It looks fantastic. And while I don't personally think I would ever use this board, I love seeing boards like these when people can sit there and use them and love them. And I'm like, fuck yeah, that's what it's all about. And then Mersey Rider or Mersey Cider. I'm sorry, I'm probably really screwing that up. Says he was going for Liverpool, but I'll take Sriracha. I love it. So, I think you won last week.
Yeah, I think I did.
So I'm gonna pick first. I'm gonna take the U80.
Taking the U80. All right.
Yeah, I think U80 with GMK First Love.
All right. So he is taken. Let me find it. This. Excuse me. Sorry, chat. I will take. Man, this is hard. All right. I'm going to do it to you. We're going to go TKL v TKL.
Ooh,
Find it. We're going the Lin Montage versus the U80.
Honorable mention. I do really like Moon's Bento Rukia.
Yeah, shout outs.
Shouts to Moon with the Bento Rukia. So the poll there has started. It is at the top of chat. If you're watching on your computer, it'll be at the top of chat. If you're watching on your phone, you don't see chat, double tap the screen. It'll be at the top of the chat. So yeah, please vote, because for the love of God, I can't lose anymore.
Yeah, if you're alt tab back in. There's 2 boards to vote on.
Throw a quick vote out. So real quick, guys, I just want to give some awesome shout outs. We've got switchmod.net/Mechs on deck for 4% off your order. GMK beta being run by switchmod.net launches Friday, set by Heine Bush. More on him in just a second. So be sure to check that out. You can go to mechsondeck.dixiemech.com, pick up GMK Minimal V2 if you want a board that's going to kind of look like the TKL that you are voting for right now, or hopefully voting against for my sake. But you can get that minimal set, super clean set. It's definitely a staple if you are wanting to have a variety of keycaps. So be sure to grab that. You can go to canonkeys.com/Mechs on deck. Pick up the Canon Caps 0 set. Very clean, black on white on gray. Just very clean set. PBT, Canon Keys new keycap keycap sets and cherry profiles. So be sure to check that out. As well as they've got some PCBs on there still for sale and some desk mats. So be sure to head on over. And then Project Keyboards, you can go to mechsondeck.project.link. GMK Dolch R5 is still running. If you want that awesome 5-row differentiated profile, check them out, Project Keyboards. And these also got pre-orders. And if you order Bingsu extras are probably going to go on sale here in the next couple months. So be sure to check that out. They did announce on their Instagram page that they've received Bingsu. And then we've got amazing partners, Zap Cables. You can go to zapcables.com to pick up some awesome cables. For those asking, we don't actually have a code for Zap. This is just a partnership with them. I think he's still got some of those Midnight Rainbow cables. So if you can get in on those, be sure to go in there. Type Beast, you can go to typebea.st. He last week released his 7th newsletter. It's one of the best newsletters if you want a good, nice, fun read. Last but not least, Smith & Rune, king of the stickers, except not really. The Iron 180s around the corner. They've also got some awesome merch. I highly recommend their joggers/sweatpants. They're very comfy. And with all of those people, this channel would not be doable without them. So
yeah, appreciate it. Shout outs to them. Shout outs to y'all for using those codes. It helps us out a ton. So if you use any of those links, it helps us. So if you're going to buy something, maybe consider using one of them. And Chewy, you won. Rama U80 with GMK First Love won. Congratulations to Chewy. Congratulations to Jay Pitcher.
Maybe third.
Shout outs to chat for voting. Moon, you know what?
Thank you guys for voting. 30 people. I think that's close to the most. I think the Wazowski still has the most votes for ever.
Oh yeah.
So I don't even think that was close. But no, thank you guys very, very much for supporting this channel, for all our new followers, all the subs. Super appreciate it. We say, I say that our sponsors are great and that would help us. No, it's the viewers though that actually give us this to look forward to every single week. So,
absolutely.
What do we got going on this week though?
Well, we've got an exciting week because tomorrow we will be joined by the man, the myth, the beast, Mr. Heine Bush himself will be coming on talking about PCBs, talking about his new 1 TKL, talking about a bunch of other stuff. GMK Beta, I believe is the name of it as well. It's going to be a fun time. He's a good dude. He's hilarious, fun to hang out with, fun to talk to.
We'll probably bring up some stuff that happened that we talked about today. Get some different takes. He shoots from the hip, so be ready. Be ready,
dude. There will be some beers that'll be drank. It's gonna be a fun time. So come hang out with us tomorrow at 8 p.m. Central. 22 hours from now, we'll be hanging out right here back on twitch.tv/Mechs on deck, having a good time. And then what are you doing on Saturday, Chewy?
I'm building myself a fancy little keyboard. I'm building a Keycolt 160 with Zycos. Very, very excited to build that. Got some other fun stuff planned as GMK Cafe is going on it. And there may or may not be some abracadaniel, some abracadoodle, doodle bob cooking and or baking that goes into this build process. I don't think the food's going to go into the keyboard because I wouldn't recommend that. But we might be featuring some more food items that related to the builds, which I love doing. Yeah. We did it with the peaches and cream. We've shown off our food on our 24-hour streams, and we talked about trying to implement these as much as we can with these kind of themes. It's a fun theme.
It's a cool little touch. Plus, it's like, hey, all you're sitting here at home. I know. I looked at our YouTube stats the other day. Basically, 100% men. Maybe you got a wife that's into baking, into cooking. Maybe she can follow along. You can kind of mend your love for keyboards with her love for baking and make something cool and fun together, just like Chewy and his wife are doing.
And I'm totally going to shill it right now. If you don't follow her on Instagram, give her the follow. We'll shill it out. She'll be posting the pics of the stuff on that. I'll tell her to do the story so you can follow while you're building. You can follow what she's doing for some sneak peeks. So be sure to check that out. And Moon, thank you for the Prime sub.
Dude, we appreciate it. I should have picked your board. I'm sorry, bud. Sure do love you.
But here's the thing. He's saying I thought the QXP in the background. We're not looking at 2 boards. We're judging off of 1.
Yep.
We're judging off of 1, but it's okay. We love you anyway, man. I'm thinking a little D&D tonight.
Oh yeah?
I'm thinking a little D&D tonight. So guys, if you don't know, we've got some great friends in the hobby, Mr. Grindbox and Prime Caps, Frank from Prime Caps. They stream a very cool interactive chat versus everything is what it's called, where you guys get to decide what the player does in D&D. So if you are at all interested in D&D, check these guys out. It's a fun little stream. It's a fun little way to get in on it. Kimchi Jody boy, thank you for the 69 bits. That's the sex number.
It is the sex number. And I'm still hearing cheer 1 in my ears. And so is chat.
So we're gonna hit them up with Loot the Room. We're not going to spam Walmart links this time. Although I did try that sauce. Solid. It's Chick-fil-A sauce.
Is it really? And it's like $2 too.
It's $1.25.
Dude, hashtag
12-ounce bottle. Hashtag value. So let's hit those Loot the Rooms. Thank you guys. We'll see you tomorrow with some Mr. Heinebush. And thank you. Bye, Switch Tester.